Hello everyone and welcome back on the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the lore of Spooky Encounters. So let's jump right into the video. We spawn on a lone path that leads to the first part of this chapter, the mansion. As we go up to the door, the game tells us that we have to look for something to open the door with. After a bit of looking around, we find a crowbar and use it to bust open the door. After we enter, we are tasked to find a series of keys to open a number of doors. And after opening the last door, you find an axe that you have to use to destroy the entrance of a cave shaft that's located in the front yard. After walking through the cave, we eventually see an opening. Once we leave the cave, we enter the forest and are tasked with following a path to the main part of the forest. There, we meet the main antagonist of this first chapter, the Pumpkin Man. The Pumpkin Man is fully covered in black clothes, except for its hands, and he of course also wears a pumpkin. Not much is known about his character. The only thing we do know is that he terrorizes these lands. After we meet the Pumpkin Man, we are tasked with looking for a shovel and digging up artifacts to place on a number of pedestals. After collecting all of the artifacts and placing them on the pedestals, the wooden barricades open and we move on to the next part of this chapter. After a bit of walking, we eventually stumble upon a dead end and are forced to enter a cave to progress the game. Once in the cave, we walk through a tight shaft and eventually come across a big opening. There, the same eerie music that played in the forest starts playing again. We receive a torch and have to use it to find our way around the dark cave. We are tasked with finding a pickaxe that we have to use to dig up 3 artifacts that we have to place on 3 pedestals. The first 2 artifacts are easy to acquire as they are located in the lower part of the cave. Once we get to the upper part of the cave, we see 3 pedestals, but we only have 2 artifacts. The last artifact is just up ahead. But once you get there, a familiar face pops up. It's the Pumpkin Man. He's back. We have to try and avoid him whilst we are trying to get the last artifact. Once we eventually get the last artifact, we have to place it on the pedestal. Then we can make our way down back to the lower part of the cave where we can eventually exit the cave. After exiting the cave, we walk on a lone path and eventually stumble upon a small bridge. Once we cross it, we see a small dock. Once we get there, it says, "To be continued." We get a badge for completing this chapter. So yeah, that was really great. I'm really excited for what they have in store for the revamp of this game, because there's actually coming a revamp to this chapter and the second chapter of this game. Really excited for that. So yeah, go check the game out. Name Spooky Encounters, as you know probably by now. And yeah, thank you all for watching and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.